fans, welcome back to, I think it's episode 4 now. It's been a couple weeks and I've finally finished the Tomb Kings after 5.5 years. I got started on the airbrush with the Orcs and Goblins, then I've done a few models and a few boars in brown, but all of them, all 400 or so in green and 2 shades of green, and I may have layered the lighter green a little bit too strongly on them, but I'll get to the Orcs and Goblins later with more work on them. Just a few hours ago I finally finished the Tomb Kings. Very happy. I'll show you them in a sec. And they worked out not so good as I thought. There's the general quality of each model in terms of the bone and everything isn't perfect, isn't the way I wanted to. The Necropolis Knights especially, there's certain things about them that I want to change, including the fact that one of their heads fell off and I have no idea where it is now. I know when it fell off, but I have no idea where it went. It may have been vacuumed up at this point. I've got a replacement, but I don't want to paint up an entire head just for one model. So we'll see about that later. But I did some highlights on some of the characters, and I like the highlights and I like the War Sphinx, but I don't know... Basically all the models have something wrong with them, so they're not like really good quality, but I'm still very happy with them. I'm proud of them, I'm glad I've done them. Last army I finished was about 1.5 years ago, the Empire. And both the Empire and these Tomb Kings need a few extra models done, but they're basically good enough. The Tomb Kings are about 3,500 points or so, without spending way too much on characters, but they can go to a healthy 3,000 if they need to. They need more chariots. I've got more chariots, I just haven't painted them. But anyways, I'll show you them in a second. And these are the Tomb Kings. Everything except the Necrosphinx I've just painted. I got them 5.5 years ago. They were all assembled, everything except these 3 Necropolis Knights, which I bought later. But everything else came to me assembled and primed white. And within the first 6 days I painted the basic colors on them, but it didn't look all that good. And over 2 different times in the last 5 years since then I've had time to paint them, including all of this last month, so I've finally finished most of them. Anyways, so Necropolis Knights I'm not exactly that happy with. The skeletons are the skeletons. Character has some nice highlights and stuff, but the War Sphinx I'm probably the happiest with. Chariots are alright. Necrosphinx was not my paint job. Catapults, decent. The grey was supposed to be highlighted a little more than it is. The casket is good and bad. There's some highlights and some other colors I didn't really finish well enough. Characters and what will be used as a Hero Titan, but I didn't finish converting him. They're decent. I like some of the models. I don't think I'll show off all the special things I've done. There's some highlights on that model that are decent. Same with this guy, he's got some interesting colors. I finally used the green glaze on something, which looks alright. Anyways, they're so interesting that I figure I might as well start using them. And I might as well use them right now against another fully painted army that I have. The Demons. These were not painted by me. I bought them from someone in, I think, New Jersey. And he used them in tournaments. They were won. I don't know if they won tournaments. I think they won some Best Painted awards. They're not amazingly painted, but they're a whole lot better than mine. And they're, well, these guys are without a doubt a highlight. A lot of it is airbrushing, and I'm still working on airbrushing, and these are a perfect example of how to airbrush. But anyways, each of these lists is 3,500 points, and I'll get into a battle. It'll be against myself just because there is no one else to play with right now, and I literally just finished them. So See if you like it. So, for magic, we have a level 4 Keeper of Secrets with Exalted Gift and 2 units of 10 horrors. The Keeper got at a Slanish 1, 3, 4, and 6, which is basically the non-leadership test ones, which is great against Camurai. This unit got the signature spell at a Zinch, which is like D6 strength, D6 hits. And these guys got the 6th one, which is what, Treason? No, Infernal Gateway, which is the really cool one. As for Undead, you got a level 4 Hierophant and a level 2 Light Mage. The Light Mage got 0 and 5, which are great. Banishment and, was it Shems? The ones that are amazing against demons. And Infernal, or the level 4 guy got 1, 2, 3, and 5, which is lowering the enemy's strength and toughness, increasing his own attacks, increasing his ward save, and gaining killing blow. So I was happy with that. And it was rolled Battle for the Pass. So this is the army setup. Tomb Kings finished the roll a number of moves first, but I'll just go over both armies now since I did before. 6 Necropolis Knights with command, Hero Titan, 30 Tomb Guard with the General with Great Weapon, Battle Standard, Necrotect, and level 4 Hierophant, Casket of Souls, 40 not Spearmen. They've got spears, but they're just hand weapons and shields and light armor. Of course, they don't actually have the shields right now, but that's besides the point. With a Tomb Prince, just with shield. War Kitty with Fury Roar. 39 archers with a Tomb Prince with a great weapon and the level 2 Light Mage. The Tomb Prince should probably go into a different unit, but I figure screw it. At this point, might as well give them like weapon skill 5. 3 chariots, I think, with a standard, and that's it. 2 of the Screaming Skull catapults with Skulls of the Foe. Of course, Skulls of the Foe don't do anything against demons, but that's besides the point. And Necrosphinx. Demons, on the other hand, facing down the cannons is a cannon of their own. 5 Furies of Slanish, 5 Mounted Demonettes, 4 Beasts of Nurgle, the 10 Horrors with Infernal Gateway, Keeper of Secrets, and I rolled the Exalted Gift, which became a 4, which was plus 2 toughness, and also gave her a lesser gift, which was the 2+ ward against the first wound suffered. Then you got 54 Demonettes with the character with the locus of Always Strikes First, 4 Flamers, 4 of the Plague Drones with command, I think. Maybe just standard musician, I can't remember. Soul Grinder of Slanish with a Big Claw. The Horrors with the first spell, more Slanish Furies, another cannon, Bloodthirster, and at the far end you have 2 scouting Nurglings. There's actually space because it's a battle for the for the pass, and Tomb Kings can move far forward. There was actually space to put 2 in the back of the rank. So that'll be a problem for the casket. Anyways, here's first turn. So, end of turn 1 for the demons. Pretty terrible news for the Tomb Kings player. What happened? Magic Phase got the 6, which was the Zinch enemy, or Zinch demons take on a 6. They lose some wounds. So 1 horror died in the Magic Phase. The Keeper Secrets almost sucked herself into the warp, but thankfully survived, and the lesser gift saved her from taking a wound. So the Magic Phase was kind of ended at that point. Nothing really bad happened, except 1 Tomb Guard died, also from the same reason the horror died. But the cannons, the 2 skull cannons, were amazing. They took out 2 Necropolis Knights on one side, lucky shot, and the Necrosphinx at the back. So, not looking good for the Tomb Kings. Anyways, Tomb Kings turn 1. Alright, recap turn 1 for Tomb Kings. Some pretty good news, but none of it was in the magic phase. They tried to cast Banishment and Shem's Burning Gaze on the Mounted Demoness, but that didn't actually work. And they just missed the 5+ wards bubble with the character by 1. They cast a 17, including the plus D3, and it just wasn't good enough. So magic didn't help them. The Chariots decided to charge the Furies here. The other option was the Chariots and the War Kitty trying to attack the Demonette block, and that might have worked if they both got the charge, but it wasn't guaranteed, and if they did that, the Demonettes and Furies would have just destroyed the Skull Catapults. So because the Necrosphinx died, they kind of had to do that and hold off this edge, which would probably be a bad idea, except for the fact that the catapults came through, killing the Keeper of Secrets in one shot, and the second shot, feeling lucky, aimed at the Bloodthirster but didn't end up doing any damage. What killed half the Demonettes was actually the archers, the skeleton archers. Not enough to take down the whole unit, but because a third of them were out of range, but enough to at least do a good amount of damage. The Chariots took out the Demonettes or the Furies and reformed. With this threat of these scouting things, the Nurglings, Tomb Kings opted to take the Tomb Prince out of this unit and have him try and attack these guys once they attack the casket. It's not necessarily the best idea, but it's the only defense the Tomb Kings have, unfortunately. So it leaves the Skeleton Warriors without a character, making them very weak, but they were already very weak and kind of hopeless. They're just a tar pit. And then on this side, the Necropolis Knights did take out the Furies right in front of them. They had no choice, really. And then they tried to overrun into the Bloodthirster, and they got a 9. They needed, I think, an 11 to close the gap. Wasn't enough. So now the Bloodthirster is just going to charge them and cause a lot of havoc. Anyways, Demon turn 2. Okay, the end of turn 2 for the Demons. Bloodthirster and the cannon charged in and made a huge mess of the Necropolis Knights. There's only one left after combat resolution. The rest of the army just slowly moved up. The Demonette horde actually moved backwards to give space for these hovering, what are they called? Nurgle whatever, to get through. The idea for that was that they could have easily charged the Bone Giant or the Skeleton Warriors. They didn't really have the chance of the space to get the War Sphinx. And going up against the Warriors, they would have ended up being flank charged by this huge army and just destroyed. So instead, the Soul Grinder and Nurgle guys are coming up instead. What happened here, the Nurglings actually punched through the casket in one turn. Killed all 3 wounds, but the casket's guard managed to kill one of the Nurglings, which was kind of lucky. Not as lucky as the Nurglings. So they overran. Because they overran at a certain angle, they missed the character entirely and managed to flank charge these guys. So it's a worst possible scenario for the Tomb Kings there. And now on this side, the Mounted Demonettes and the Chariot decided to charge. Or Skull Cannon. They managed to take a few more wounds off and they won combat resolution, but the Mounted Demonettes were destroyed. I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, because that kind of opens up the space for the Beast of Nurgle to come in next turn. But we'll see. We'll see if they get the chance. Anyway, moving on to Tomb King turn.